Black Ops 7 Zombies is in serious trouble, and I am not sure how we are going to dig our way out of this hole, to be honest. As a community, I'm not sure how Treyarch is going to save us from the depths of despair that we are rapidly tumbling into. It's just not looking good. And I think that we need to have a candid conversation about it, because from a few different angles, it's looking a bit ropey. So, as you know, Paradox Junction is coming out this week, the new Zombies map, and this map has had so much disinterest from the community so far. It's actually unbelievable. Like, I've been largely focusing on Marathon. I've been very busy with that game. I've been really enjoying it. I've been streaming it for like 12 hours a day or more. It's not something that I do very often, streaming a game that frequently, unless I'm absolutely head over heels enjoying it and in love with it. And it's happened with Marathon, which has been lovely. But it's meant that I've been a little bit tuned out of some of the Zombies news in the build up to this map. But my Twitter feed hasn't been tuned out from it. And I've seen so many tweets from people being like, oh, they're reusing a wonder weapon? Boring. Oh, they're just doing Nuketown again? Boring. Like, I've seen so many comments like that across platforms as well. And because I've been a little bit out of the loop, I was like, okay, let me just do a tweet. Let me just get a temperature check from the community. And I said, there's a new Zombies map coming this week. Are you feeling excited or uninterested? And I thought the results from this would be that there'd be a lot of comments saying, I'm willing to give it a shot. I'm at like a 6 out of 10 hype level, like something like that. And then I did a poll down here and I said, rate your hype level. And I broke it up from 0 to 2.5, 2.5 to 5, 5 to 7.5, 7.5 to 10. Obviously with 10 being maximum hype. Didn't expect to get a lot of 10s, but I wanted to include the option regardless. This was the result. Yeah. Now, granted, this is a poll that I only posted, let's see, how many hours ago? About 3 hours ago. And granted, it's only got 8,000 responses. But that's still 8,000 people, right? When this map itself and the videos that I post on the map are not going to be getting like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views. They're going to be getting tens of thousands of views. So this is quite a significant number of people actually relative to the total possible sample size. And they're saying their majority by a significant margin in the 0 to 2.5 category. Now, I didn't say in this poll, the new Zombies maps looks like ass. Do you hate it as much as I do? I just said, are you excited or uninterested? Right? I tried not to sort of sway people one way or the other in this little tweet thread, but people are just not excited. And I think that this is inevitable when you remake a remake of a remake of a remake. I think this is inevitable when you say that you're going to be doing only creative Dark Ether stuff and then you do something which looks very uncreative. Just to be candid, I mean no ill will towards the devs when I say that, but I think that it's actually an objective truth to say that there is more originality and therefore more room for creativity in an Ashes or an Astra compared to a Nuketown remake. Like, you're kind of anchored to the bones of the previous experience, and it's just like something we've seen before. You know what I mean? And I like the look of the time travel stuff. It looks kind of interesting, I suppose. It looks like an interesting mechanic. I think it's something that in years' time, we'll look back on it and we'll be like, that's a unique map, and that's awesome. That's an awesome feature. The problem is that it's in a release window where our interest in Black Ops 7 Zombies has been tumbling down a cliff at rapid pace. And I don't think that this is going anywhere towards, like I said at the beginning of the video, like digging our way out of that hole and restoring faith, right, in Treyarch, and ensuring that we do have trust in Call of Duty communications, especially in a time where Call of Duty's got the Call of Duty Community Manager account now that's been commenting on people's videos and replying to people more on Twitter, and doing so in a way that I should probably make a different video on and talk about in more depth, because there's positives there, but there's also some serious concerns that I have about it. But in an era where they're trying to do that, it's crazy how uncommunicative they've been about this zombies map, and how sort of weirdly dishonest it makes the marketing from launch feel, because we now have this weird sore thumb extra DLC map that, in some ways, at least from the marketing that we've seen so far, feels like it shouldn't exist in the first place. Like, it's bizarre. So I'm a bit concerned based on that. And I actually also want to draw some attention to COD's actual marketing for zombies in the new COD pod. So this came out 4 hours ago, as you can see, and it's a 45-minute podcast, and there's a new zombies map coming out in 2 days, and this much of the video, still scrolling, still scrolling, still scrolling, still scrolling, still going, still going. None of that's zombies, okay? Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Nope, still not. Finally. It took them 41 minutes to get to zombies, and this is what they had to say.
This is another one that Kevin Drew, maybe the all-star of the COD pod all time, his jersey will hang in the rafters of the studio at some point. He said a little bit ago that the team wanted to find a special way to do this for players. So today, happy to say that there are plans in place to bring a handful of those fan favorite weapons back to zombies in a pretty unique way, starting in Season 3. So keep an eye out for details on this coming up soon.
Oh, fantastic. Another question about Avalon. Will Avalon be a playable map in Standard Battle?
Excuse me? What about the map coming out? Can we talk about that? Are there any more questions? Ranked Resurgence? Outro. Bro, there is a map releasing in less than 48 hours. I think it's a little concerning that they're not even, they're like burying it. They're not even mentioning the map. They're just saying there are some guns coming in Season 3. Like, what are we doing here? It's kind of concerning, no? So, if Call of Duty themselves don't feel like they're giving off confident vibes about this map, how are the players and the fan base supposed to rally around it and be enthusiastic and be excited, right? If the devs themselves are kind of like burying it under the floorboards, sweeping it under the rug, so people won't pay attention to it, how are we meant to be jubilant that there's one of 5 DLC maps for this game coming out, right? That should be a really awesome thing. And yet, it's like they kind of don't want us to pay any attention to it because do they know it's bad? Do they know it's terrible? Do they know it's going to bring the vibe down? Like, they're doing all this Call of Duty CM stuff. Surely that would mean that more transparency about the map would be a good thing, but we're getting the opposite here, which makes all of the Call of Duty CM stuff feel really dishonest because it then doesn't become about actually communicating with the player. It's just propagating the Activision narrative again and being more combative about it, potentially, in people's comment sections. Like, that's a concern. That is just worrying and makes me trust that account a lot less. You know what I mean? So when we look at polls like this and we see the results the way they are, I think it's honestly something that it's not hard to draw conclusions from as to why it's the case, right? It's not difficult. We're in a rough spot here. And I'm hopeful that when we stream Paradox Junction on the release day, there will be some special source in the map that means that some of our concerns here are blown out of the water and actually it's sick. I'm hopeful for that because a world where the zombies maps we're getting are amazing, fantastic maps is a better world than a world where the maps suck. For all of us, right? Even if you're burned by Activision, burned by Treyarch, burned by the manipulation, burned by the lies, burned by this, that, and the other, I think it's still better for all of us as zombies fans if the map is good, right? So I want it to be good. But I'm also keeping my expectations very managed that it may be, I don't want to say a disaster, but it may be exactly as we maybe expect, which is that it might kind of flatline from day one, to be completely honest. I know so many people. Like, I even was recording a video on the train the other day before I went to LA, and I met a guy that worked in the train station, and he was like, this genuinely happened. Shout out to Sean. He came up to me and he was like, oh my God, you're MrRoflWaffles. And I was like, yes, mate, that's me. And he was like, bro, what happened to Call of Duty? Why does it suck now? And I was like, bro, you tell me, bro. And then he was like, where's Jason Blundell gone? And why has it been terrible since he left? He knew ball. Like, it's actually crazy how, like, people will come up to me in the street and say these things. And here we are, just trying to make the best of the scraps that we are still getting with this DLC. It's wild. And on top of all of that, we now have to contest with the fact that seemingly all of the steps are going to get leaked by this new leaking tool, right? And that's a real concern. Because if we're doing the Easter egg hunt and it's kind of solved minute one because we can kind of like wall hack and see where all the triggers are and all that sort of thing, then it releases in a solved state, essentially, which is kind of busted. Do you know what I mean? So it's going to be a very interesting release day. I will be streaming it, just as I always do, in full. I'll be making my no-nonsense guide, just as I always do. I'll be making some tips videos and some news videos and all my normal stuff. I will be trying my best to show up, even if the map itself is weak. And I hope to see you there, but I don't blame you if you don't even bother paying it any attention. I don't blame you. And then maybe I'll see you back for future DLCs. Maybe you'll tune into some of my marathon content if you're enjoying that game. Maybe you'll tune into some other stuff that I've been covering recently. I posted a Resident Evil video. I'm probably going to do another one of those soon if you guys would like to see that. So I'm experimenting, man, because Zombies is in a rough spot and it's scary. So thanks for watching. Let me know if you agree or disagree. And I'll see you next time. Bye for now.